Yo, what up? Extra Mile Sauce Podcast. Jordan episode.
Jordan
episode.
Look what I'm whipping on. This is America. Don't catch you slipping on. Don't catch you slipping on. Look what I'm whipping on.
Always one, huh?
Right.
This is America.
Ryan Sandberg.
That's I take that. Robert Ventura episode.
Yeah.
Shot-town flavor.
Definitely.
Nah.
Definitely.
Chris
Southside.
Chelios. Wait, was he number 10?
Nah.
he was
Nah,
number
Chris
10.
Chelios was 7.
7?
Chelios?
Yeah, Chris Chelios was 7.
I thought he was 9.
Nah, 7.
I don't like hockey.
He
like
surely
that.
was. Nah, you're right. I mean, 7, you're right.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't like hockey like that, so. Alright, Childish Gambino set the world ablaze, what, a day ago?
Yeah, just about.
This is America, man. So, coming off of Awaken My Love, that y'all didn't really like that much. Such a dope album. This man came back with a very conscious record, wrapped in trap. In trap music, rapping with triplets, very Migos-esque.
That's Atlanta.
Yep. But a very dope message that I hope everybody caught.
It's a lot of messages in
There's
there.
so many,
A
yes.
lot of
There's
them.
so many layers to that video. But I thought it was so dope. I think when I checked it, like, it was at like almost 20 million views already.
Yeah.
That quick. So obviously people are talking about it. It's definitely jumping out. What did you guys think of it?
I thought it was dope, man. It was very well put together. You could tell he put a lot of time and effort into it.
Mm-hmm.
With the messages being subtle enough that they don't jump right out at you, but if you're aware enough, then you can't miss them.
Yeah.
So I think that's the way that he was able to put that together was really dope.
Mm-hmm.
And it sounds good. You know, sometimes you get so wrapped up in delivering a good message that it may not always come off sound wise the way you want to, but I think this was very well wrapped. It's just the perfect package in being able to deliver a good message with a good sound. The visuals was amazing. It was dope. The first time I watched it, I immediately just watched it over and over and over. I watched it like 4 times in a row because when I first saw it, I just saw just a snippet of him shooting the choir, and I was like, "Whoa, what is he on?" So then that immediately grabs you, and you want to watch the rest of it. But altogether, it was very well put together. I thought it was dope. It was super dope.
What caught me when I first saw it was when the guy was sitting in the chair.
Yeah.
And he pulled the piece on him, and the way that he was standing, I didn't even connect what was going on at first, but the first thing I thought about was minstrel. Because I took a lot of African American history classes in college. So whenever they showed a minstrel, they was always in there, how did he? And that's the first thing I thought about, not even knowing what the song was. Then when I saw his hair, no shirt, the dress pants, I was like, this dude about to do something crazy. It's about to be crazy. Then when he shoot the choir, I'm like, okay, that's to my man down in the Carolinas. I was like, he's about to go crazy.
And they said that was Trayvon Martin's dad playing the guitar.
At first, that's what people thought. It wasn't him.
That's
was
not
another
him?
cat. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
It was another cat. And then when I saw the pale white horse,
that was
this
dope.
dude talking about death. Man, this man went in.
Followed by the police car.
Visually on point, man. Visually on point. He's one of our, if I could say, well, I am going to say, new generation auteurs. That's killing. Even the show Atlanta.
Yeah, he has his pulse on everything. The music, the visuals. Atlanta is really dope, by the way. That last episode was crazy.
Yeah, his creativity is second to none, man. He really did his thing with this video. I loved and then I loved that he used all of the popular trap artists that glorify killing and shooting and everything else. And utilize their voice for the ad-libs.
Insert ad-lib here.
Yeah. And just utilize them to bring it along. Like, this is what's glorified, I really just thought it was dope as a whole. Like you guys said, visually. As the camera would swing or pan, it was a whole new setup.
Yep.
Pretty much with a whole new message. And then you were left to interpret what that meant at that point in time. And then he was doing every popular dance now, just to be like, let me just mix this in, just so y'all.
On a Bojangle though.
Yeah.
It was on a Bojangle.
Yeah. And another thing that I liked is his messages were compartmentalized, like in the forefront and then in the background.
Yeah.
And it was like that every single time that he switched scenes or he panned or any type of transition that was made. It was multiple messages in the background and in the foreground. So I thought that was dope, man. It's got a lot of layers to it. I mean, I can only speak for myself. I couldn't catch it all in one watch. So it definitely took me a few times to notice some things. And then even still, it was still some things that I glazed over or I didn't see that I saw when, I was not reading reviews, but seeing different things online. And I was like, man, I still didn't even catch that. So it was very, very well thought out, very well put together.
Yeah.
And you don't get that in music videos nowadays.
It was very, like, in a visual way, Lupe-esque.
I see
like
that.
what Lupe does lyrically.
Yeah,
like
very
so
much
several
so.
different messages all wrapped into one. And you're left to interpret it. You can't, and in one sitting you're probably not going to catch every single thing.
Yeah.
You know. And I think that's what was dope about it, right? But it has enough of a bop and a trap feel to it that people are going to listen to it just cuz this is what's popular right now, but not know that they're getting substance. So you have to subtly sneak the substance in, so that they'll go back and keep listening to it, and eventually it'll make sense. But yeah, the visuals were just so dope. Like I can't express that enough. How dope the visuals were, how he played off of every pan and every different moment within the song. Like I just felt like this is what we're lacking in music right now. Like this is what we're truly lacking. Like I hate to bring up Ye at this point, but like Ye is causing a stir, with this Make America Great Again and all of his absurd views. But this man, in a covert way, brought all of his views to the forefront. Like, all right, here it is, left on a platter for you. Yeah. And what I love is, like, right now we're in this era, like Dub said, where we have some more cats coming to the forefront that are leaving you to interpret things on your own. Like, if we think about this video as well as like KOD, like a lot of things are being left to interpretation. If we think about a lot of Kendrick stuff, like you're left to interpret it, So I think I'm more eager for the next generation of rappers because this is what they're growing up listening to, like this type of stuff. So I don't feel like hip hop is dead at this point.
Oh, not at all.
I feel like we're starting to get back to some of the things that we need within the forefront, and challenging our minds a little bit instead of just rapidy rap. And he rapped it in that, but it was a totally different message. And I just think his skill set is just so high at so many different things. Like when it comes to visually, when it comes to writing, when it comes to his flows and things like that. Like he's just so talented, and he's using his platform well.
Yeah.
And within the first 5 months of this year, we've had a lot of projects that's been thought provoking. We
done had some good music. We had some good music.
I think I was just sitting thinking about my favorite albums so far this year, and I was just thinking about how much good solid music, like not I'm just rapping all over the place stuff, has dropped.
I agree with that.
And so whenever we have thought-provoking music, thought-provoking visuals, things like that, like I think it inspires more people to think and be creative.
It should.
Yeah. As we have things that are, hate to throw her under the bus like this, the Cardi B's and people of the world like this, like they're obviously dumbing down music. But then we have people like this bringing what needs to be brought to the forefront. And
it's not that it's not a place for Cardi B, because let's be real. You digest your music for different reasons. You know, sometimes you wanna chill and be laid back, or sometimes you wanna go out there and be amped up and you wanna party, you wanna dance or whatever. Sometimes you wanna be inspired and you wanna have some thought provoking moves. So it's a place for a Cardi B and Migos or whatever trap is jumping, but then it's also a place for This Is America, and for you to get some substance, for you to get you some food, something that's gonna stick to your ribs, what I'm saying? So it's a place for everything. It's just how you digest that and how much of it you digest too.
And we talked about that in early episodes, finding a balance. If we stay in the vein that it seems like we're going to trend this year, I'm hoping this is where we trend. I wouldn't mind mumble rap if I'm not getting bombarded with it.
Yeah.
If I'm getting other artists, even if it's not radio play, I can go somewhere and listen to something that, like you said, gives me substance. Then on a Friday, Saturday, I can go listen to I'm Walking Like I Talk It. I'm fine with that.
I don't want the mumble. Like, I guess like I live in this space where I love the content of music, and I think about like a lot of stuff during the 60s and 70s. Like the writing was so dope. Yeah. Like people were dancing to thought-provoking tracks.
True.
Like, so I think like the music, dictates what you dance to. Like you can drop dope beats and dope hooks and a dope message and people dance to it. You know what I'm saying? So I'm of that vein. Like I think that it's very possible for us to continue to drop thought-provoking things, that we don't have to be 21 Savaged and Little Uzi'd out. Like that's not the thing. Like I could deal with a Kodak Black before I could deal with most mumble rap, because Kodak Black has enough flow. Yeah, but that's enough substance at times. Like I could deal with Kodak.
That's the good thing about music, is you can tune in or tune out what you want. Because here's the thing: is everybody, all of those mumble rappers we just named that you may not want to listen to, they popping because somebody want to listen to them. So everybody has. That's the greatest thing about music, is that no matter what you into, what you like, how you're feeling, you can find somebody that fits you. And if it's something that you don't like, tune it out.
Well, I want to make sure that we glorify the more thought-provoking music, because what's been glorified is, as we go through this track and pick through it, what's been glorified is this style of rap, and this style of music that glorifies killing, shooting, robbing, the plug, all of that type of stuff. Like that's what this whole track is. You know what I'm saying? And if we continue down that path, like we've created our own cocktail of garbage. You know what I'm saying? That's at the forefront. Then we drop something like this, which does have substance. It's rap the same as that stuff, as far as flow, beats, hooks. But at the end of the day, there's an actual message in it, and you kind of walk away with a whole different feeling from this. Why can't we have more cats rap? If that's the type of beats and the type of flows and things like that, why can't we rap more substance in that and still party to that on Fridays?
I dig it. By no means am I saying that that's not something that I agree with. Is I want us to continue to be multifaceted. Play what you like. If you don't like it, then move on from it. Some people don't know any other way to express themselves other than what they know, what they've been accustomed to. So those mumble rappers, maybe that's all that they know. That's all that they like. That's all that they care to do. And there's other people out there who are just like them, who they speaking to. Just as thought-provoking, and how enamored these 20 million people are with this Is America track. Is a pocket of people out there who playing Tekashi 6ix9ine the same way.
But is that dumbed down music what caused us to be in the state that we're in as a black culture?
No.
Yes.
No.
I totally think so.
You can't. So
I think that the inspiring and thought-provoking music of the 60s and 70s and late 50s is what led the revolution of those eras, right? And I think that as we get into these eras, I think that that's what's led to the pill popping, no substance having.
Well,
I got 6 baby daddies generation that we have now.
But then you can say the same thing about early rap in the 90s.
Like you,
I mean, you could say that, okay, because that's exactly what the government said, is that okay, the main reason for the poverty and the killings and the mass murders was because of rap music. They blamed it on rap music. So at the end of the day, everybody has an individual choice with what they want to divulge in, whether that be vices or morals or whatever it is. It's all about the way that you're made up. By no means am I saying that your environment doesn't play a role in who you become, because it does. Yeah, but at the end of the day, you still create who you are, because as many people who can say, oh man, well, I ended up being a drug dealer or a crackhead or a bum because of my environment, is other people who said, you know what, I became a success story because of my environment. Mm-hmm. So it all depends.
But the percentage is a lot different.
It is but at the end of the day, you always have a choice. So I think that's the main thing that I feel with the music. It all comes back to the choice, because you divulge your time to what you want, and then it still doesn't have to be influential to you. You can use that and digest that for the moment, because that's how I felt for just that moment. You know what I'm saying? Because there's no better genre of movie to me than a gangster flick. Grew up watching them my whole life. You could put me down in front of any gangster flick and I'm gonna watch it. I love it. But I never wanted to be a gangster. I didn't. Just because I knew how to separate the two. This was entertaining to me, but that didn't mean I have to do it. You know, and I feel like the music listeners have that same choice.
Well, I feel like that choice is there, but I don't think that everyone has the ability to separate and pick things apart in the same way that you do, right? You're a lot more intelligent, articulate brother than some of these people at age 13, you know, or age 15. You know what I'm saying? And this is what they've grown up on, and this is what they know as music, and this is what they know as substance in the black community.
You're absolutely right about that. Yeah, because adolescents, they're a sponge at that point.
Right.
So yeah, you're totally right about that.
You at 30 or around 30 is totally different, processing. Or even, in the household in which you grew up in, totally different processing this than someone that this is their primary source of learning. You know what I'm saying? And that's what I'm more so saying.
But they can also change through. Growing up, my favorite album was The Chronic. Mm-hmm. Never wanted to be a gangster, but that was popping in the early 90s.
Right. Yeah.
Gangster rap, Too Short Dog.
Yeah.
But then when I became of age, able to buy my own stuff and not take from my sister, then I discovered what we was calling backpack rap. I discovered the native tongues. I discovered those myself. So my thought process from me swearing all the time, and even at 15, 16, changing my mindset of what I wanted and what I wanted to do, it can happen. Just because right now, what's hot is 21 Savage. He may one day say, I'm about to give these cats some real lyrics.
21 Savage is a very intelligent dude. That's what I'm saying. Very possible.
That's what I'm saying. I can get busy. Possible. And I was listening to, but watching Deezus and Mero. And they had the young cat.
You ain't watched Deezus and Mero, dog.
I started watching it when we was talking about that. We was watching the clip. Envy. Yeah. So
the beige race.
So I'm watching Deezus and Mero, and they have to do with the red braids. Like Yachty. Yachty was on there, and they was asking him about substance in music. He's flat out was like, I don't care because I'm rich.
Yeah.
He said, I'm rich. This style of music has made me rich and afforded me luxuries that I've never had or never thought that I would have. I'm not changing a thing. He can change if he wanted to, but I understand that too. You know what I'm saying? Like if you're a ball player and you got paid to score, you're not going to stop scoring because you got your money scoring. Well, I know that's kind of extreme.
But it is. But here's the thing is and you can use that. That's a good setup. Lil Yachty has probably reached his plateau.
Yeah.
And when I say reached his plateau, it may not necessarily be when it comes to making music. He might make better music, better selling albums. He may make more money. Matter of fact, I wish he does. I wish he makes more money because anytime a black man is prospering, that's great. But when I mean he's plateaued is because he's everything that you just said that he said was selfish, as opposed to a J. Cole who he still sells. he's selling great right now, but he has a notion in his mind that he owes more to just making money. He owes it back to his community. He owes it back to the people who he knows who has suffered. He's deeper rooted into the essence of what our problems are and what he can achieve with his platform.
And I'll devil advocate that too. Just because we don't know Yachty's doing anything, we can't say
he ain't doing
right.
nothing.
So no.
Don't advocate for the clowns.
We can't say that.
I'm not advocating for these clowns.
We just say if we intellectual brothers, we're not gonna do that, man. We don't know what he's doing.
He got seat smart, but he's stupid. Nah,
so I mean, he gave back a lot of money. He gave back a lot of money to his school. So it's not to say that he doesn't have a philanthropic bone in his body.
You stupid.
That don't even make sense.
I'm not saying y'all's view. I'm saying if his view of the world is I don't care what I put into the world because I'm rich, then he's stupid to me.
I don't know if
that's dumb.
I wouldn't call him stupid because that's where he is. That's his music, and if you're going to continue to buy what I'm spewing out,
and it also means it doesn't mean that he can't evolve. It doesn't mean that he can't evolve from where he's at.
I think he's stupid right now. I didn't say he couldn't evolve. He's stupid right now.
I don't think that's stupid, man.
I think that's very dumb. To say I don't care what I put into the universe or into the world because I'm rich. I think that's really stupid.
But I don't think he said, I don't care. You took it as, I don't care.
I thought that's you said he didn't care.
Well, meaning when he said, what I gathered from that interview when he said he didn't care, it was in terms of lyrical content. If he wanted to make a song called Bubba Dubba Bubba Bubba with a dope beat and his soul,
Kanye just did.
Yeah, he does. That's what I thought. That's what I'm taking. He meant as I don't care, meaning you're not gonna at this point in time right now get a We Shall Overcome. Yeah. We don't know, but we've never listened to his album. I have it, so I don't even know if that's on the album. You know, he may have something that's heartfelt for him, but you may not dig it because you're not coming from where he's coming from.
Yeah.
So I can't say it's dumb. You know, it's free choice, public opinion. You know, can't do it.
I can't ride the fence, man. It's dumb, man.
I don't think that's riding
the
fence,
man. It's dumb.
I
can't advocate for.
So it's a lot of black people back in the day that didn't like what Marvin was doing. Not everybody was 100%.
Right, and they were dumb.
Like this is the third week in a row you done said some
I'm just saying, like if you don't,
that doesn't even sound intelligent, man.
Maybe you should throw out. Okay, if you didn't advocate for Curtis, so what era of Marvin are we talking about? Are we talking about Marvin?
We can do the whole thing. When he was with Tammy, we can go to when he was Sexual Healing. We can go Trouble Man, any genre. It was people that didn't agree. Oh, he's too sexual. We don't like.
No, so I'm not talking about the
militant.
sexual stuff. I'm talking about I was talking about more of the thought provoking stuff.
No, I'm using the whole catalog just for the conversation.
So that type of stuff, like, okay, I want you, stuff like that, that's not very, push the culture forward type stuff to me. So I totally would understand that. But like the Curtis Mayfield and the Impressions music and stuff like that, like, I don't support us being, empowered. Like that's.
But I don't think everything has to be Black Fist militant either.
I don't either.
I don't think it has to be Black Fist militant.
I don't. I just think that some thought should truly go into what you put out into the universe. And I think we have a generation of music that is not putting any thought into what they're spewing out.
I think that's opinion. And because it's an opinion, we can't automatically deem that it's wrong. I can never tell somebody that their opinion is wrong because that's just the way that they feel. We just don't like it. I'm not a huge fan of mumble rap, but it's a place for it. That's the only reason that it's big. It's big for a reason. Somebody likes it. Somebody is digesting it. Somebody's asking for it. Somebody else wants mumble rap. That's the reason that it's popping. As soon as they don't want it anymore, that's when it dies. You know?
Totally agree with
that.
Like
disco.
But you're right.
Disco is just complete trash.
Everything can't be trash that
disco
you don't like,
was trash.
How was disco trash if it ran for decades?
It not even a decade. How long did disco last? Like
First of all, anytime that you have a genre that lasts for even 1 decade, you can't say that it was trash. People was digesting it.
It was trash. It's okay to say disco was trash.
No, I can't say disco was trash.
No, it just means you didn't like it. That's all.
Like, that's why there was so many one-hit wonders in disco.
Because everybody was doing it at that time. Even the R&B cats was doing disco. disco was overload. That's why
Hopefully
it played itself
mumble
out.
rap fades out like disco, man.
I don't think it is.
That's the narrative. Yeah,
I don't think
let's
it's
fade
fading out.
mumble rap out like disco, man. Well, let's move on to somebody else that we need to fade the beat out on. Kanye West, man.
I'm so tired of talking about this dude.
What is he like? So, okay. This is again one of the greatest marketing moves I think he's ever made in the history of his career. It's very smart. Once he had an interview, he was able to express his points even more so. I will say, man, I was happy with some of the questioning that Charlemagne did, man. So Charlemagne asked some tough questions and some very targeted questions to Kanye that forced him to have to answer some very tough questions and not dance around them. I think whenever you're in like a social media or you're putting out your own songs and things like that, you can control what content goes out and dance around certain topics. But Charlemagne is a great person for this because he really doesn't let you dance around stuff.
Yeah,
like he takes pride in not letting you dance too much. So I was happy with the questioning from Charlemagne. The TMZ joint was out of control to me though. Did y'all watch the TMZ joint?
Did you all see the version? It was 2 other clips after the slavery clip.
Yeah.
One thing about Charlemagne before we get too caught, straight too far from him, he's about to take it to the next level. From the shock jock, just crazy one-off antics into something that's going to be totally different in the realm of media. I'm talking like he has the ability to be Oprah-esque when it comes to interviewing and being able to or Barbara Walters type when it comes to the black community. I think he can be that when it comes to being down and sitting getting a candid interview, because like you said, he's not going to dance around the questions. He's going to ask what the world wants to know, but he can put it and place it in a way that isn't as abrasive as he was in the beginning. I think Charlemagne could take off.
I mean, I think he's been building that brand for about the past 3 years. He's been a lot more conscious. When he just wrote that book. Like he's taking steps to try to utilize his platform in a different way than what he did originally. I'm not a big fan of shock jock cats like him or Star, people like that. Like I'm not a big fan of that unless there's some structure to it, or you're really thinking through, not just saying stuff just to have the hottest meme or the hottest clip of the day. You know what I'm saying? Like, so if there is really something you want to know or something that you want to learn, in this situation, I'm totally with it. And I think like as time is going on, Charlemagne is doing more of that. It doesn't seem like he's just doing things for shock value anymore, but that he feels like he's speaking for, the black people in a lot of cases, and this is what we want to know about this situation, or this is the questions that people are scared to ask, and being very direct with that.
I think he having that light bulb moment. Cole had it like 2 years ago. Charlemagne had it now, where it's just like, okay, this is bigger than me, and I'm about to really amp it up and start to utilize this platform, and it's going off for him. I think he got some big stuff in store for us.
Yeah, I agree. He realized how many people actually listen to him, not just being a shock jock, but listen to the words that he's saying, and he's taking responsibility of that.
He sees his impact and the influence that he can have.
Yeah. But what did you think of Kanye's perspective, true perspective on slavery, not the narrative that everyone is trying to paint of slavery, or what he said about slavery?
I think Kanye has a really tough time articulating himself in the way that he means.
I agree.
But
do you think
he doesn't care to correct people? Kanye will never be like, no, that's not what I meant.
He rather let it sit there and you figure out what it's
exactly
what it's intended or the purpose.
So, do you think that he has a tough time articulating altogether, or that he has a tough time articulating to the black people his perspective at this point?
I think in the moment, it's all outlined in his head. Then once he starts talking, he got that that trash can that throws all that away.
Yeah.
Then emotion comes up. Then when emotion comes up, he forgets everything he's talking about. But he's so far removed from where he was when he first started that I do think he's blinded by what's happening in America or around here other than his bubble.
Yeah, I can stand on that. I mean, I think I can support that. I do think that he's so far removed from what's going on in black culture for real. Outside of what music is bubbling or things like that. Like, I think he kind of he has blocked himself off from the world in a lot of ways to ensure that he doesn't get that he filters out the negative. But you filter out everything when you block yourself away from the rest of the world. And so I think he lacks tact in his communication than he always has, but it's been more understandable because of the things that he's trying to communicate in the past. Now when he's trying to communicate a perspective that's not understood by the majority of black people, it's very hard for him because he's lacking tact. He's not speaking to the culture where it's at this point in time. He really doesn't understand what he needs to say for people to understand him. For real. That's what I think is the issue at this point in time. I think if people understood what his perspective was, they might have more respect for it. They're not gonna like it, but they would have more respect for it. His perspective is so off, to most black people because they can't understand where it's coming from, and he's not positioning it in a way that it's easy for them to understand. And so the immediate narrative becomes slavery's a choice. Where when he's truly saying like that, having a slave mind and not feeling like you should be free is the problem. And I know that that's a narrative that's very easy to change. Like anytime you say anything that it takes very few words to twist it, people are gonna run with it. And so I think in this situation, that's what's happened at this point in time, is people have taken it and run with it and haven't seen an interview, haven't truly heard his perspective. They're just talking about, did you hear what Kanye said?
Right. It's the same way when he said, I love Trump. And it wasn't he loves what Trump was able to accomplish. Coming basically, he feeling like he was thrust or put into a realm where he was the underdog. He didn't know anything. He wasn't supposed to be there, and he won. That's Kanye. That is Kanye. So that's how Trump that Trump spoke directly to Kanye with that move. So he felt like, man, that's amazing. Not necessarily speaking to anything of his political views or the things that he was talking about, because remember, he shut his mind out from all of that.
In the T.I. interview, T.I. even asked me, he said, I don't know what his platform is. Kanye said he doesn't know what Trump's platform is. He just know that he became president, and that shows me that I can, quote unquote, do it all.
He said, what do you think about the travel ban? He was like, what's the travel ban? Kanye didn't know what the hell was going on.
And I think the other thing that was very important I took away, so he is totally aloof to what Trump's true views and things are, and doesn't really care to,
or he's
to learn
playing
them.
aloof.
I don't think he's playing aloof.
Because he said he just started watching CNN.
Right.
But I totally believe
a year ago or something.
Yeah, but I totally believe that, because everyone who's been around him says he just locks himself away from the rest of the world to be in this creative space where nobody can touch him, outside of the people that he truly trusts.
And the thing is, he's not going to break from that because it's been so beneficial to him.
In some cases.
In most cases.
But I think that the thing that really stood out to me is something that I do agree with that Kanye said, is that more hate is not going to create a better environment at this point in time. That it is going to take love. It is going to take somebody from the black community trying to understand Trump better for us to move forward. Like, hate is not going to do it.
That's the best thing he said.
Biblically, that's very true when we think about segregation, things like that. Like, hate is not gonna fix anything, right? Love is the only thing that's going to fix it. But you have to be a lot more knowledgeable about what else you're supporting when you do so. Like when you say I support Trump, or I'm gonna put on a Make America Great Again hat. Understand what those views truly mean. Don't do it for the shock value. Don't do it just to say, okay, I support Trump as a person just from what I know of him.
Symbolism is everything in our culture today.
Mm-hmm. Yep. And so I think like feeling like he's standing behind Trump has alienated everyone where they're looking for something wrong with Kanye at every avenue. But I understand some of his points and things, but I think he's too lost in what's truly going on with Trump and what he's pushing in America. It's kind of similar to the whole Dennis Rodman going to Korea thing. Like, you like an actual person for what they're showing you at face value, but you're not looking deeper about the things that they're not doing directly to your face. And you're putting yourself in a situation where you're very supportive, or you're in a situation where you're supporting a lot of things that if you truly knew what you were behind, you wouldn't support. And I feel like Kanye's in that space, and he's comfortable being hated, so I don't think that that's bothering him at all. So that's why I don't think he's really delved deeper into what Trump really stands for. No matter how much people throw it at him and send him messages and whatever, it's just like, oh, well, I'm just gonna love him, and it's okay to stand behind him because he's a person just like me. Well, you can't stand behind those views too, because if I stand with y'all too, like, when y'all go to speak like that, if I sit in the chairs behind y'all when y'all give a speech, that means I stand behind whatever
I'm getting ready to say.
And I don't think that he has a full understanding of that at this point. Like, I'm standing behind everything that Trump stands for. I'm standing behind the wall. I stand behind the travel ban. I stand behind those are good people down there in Virginia.
And that's the thing.
Right.
He's picking and choosing without that mindset, let's be said.
Yeah.
You can't do it. When you put that hat on, you represent everything.
You gotta understand what you advocate.
Everything.
Yeah.
Everything.
Unless you preface it by saying these are the things that I don't agree with that Trump has done, and these are the things that I agree with that Trump has done.
And that's where I thought he was going to go in Charlemagne. It seemed like he was going that way, but then he thought about it again. Was like, no, I'm standing on what T.I. in his joint even led him to feel that way. Like when he talked about, well, maybe I should take the hat and just change it. It's like, nah, I'm just gonna leave it the same. So you can, he has his wheels turning, which is good. But he's so stuck on his laurels that he's not going to deter from them, and that can be the detriment. And that can be what's damning.
And like, we know his loyalty to people, no matter what they're doing and things like that. Like, if I think about like Cudi, for example, him and Cudi's situation is very telling, right? He was very okay with Cudi stepping away, but the second Cudi said something bad about him, he lost his mind. And then he jumped back on the Cudi train. The way his interactions with Jay-Z are like that, the second Jay says something or does something he doesn't like, he loses his mind. So I'm waiting for with this whole Trump situation for him to take that, to do the hop back and forth thing, because that's so Kanye. He falls in love with people, not their views or what they stand for and things like that. And then he's hurt when something happens that he's not in agreement with, and then whenever they apologize or whatever, he just jumps right back on the train. So I'm waiting for him to jump off the Trump train around album release time and then jump right back on. You know what I'm saying? That's why I keep saying I expect him. Maybe it's not going to be in 2 weeks or whatever, but it's going to happen. It's going to happen probably in the next 6 months to 18 months. Like, I expect him to jump off the Trump train.
I really feel that's going to happen. When this album drop, there's going to be I've had a change of mind since I'm watching the news now. I sat down, I talked to Don C, I talked to Verge, whoever it was, and they said, and it started making sense to me.
Or he's going to drop some crazy bars about Trump and then try to act like he still loves Trump. Those are the... Kanye has some complexes.
And if it's his friend should allow him to be critical. So we'll see how that goes.
We'll see.
Right.
But he has been interesting. Very interesting. It's kind of getting to the point where I don't even watch him anymore because I know...
I definitely don't.
I know where your stance truly is at this point. I have an understanding of it, and I don't really want to hear it anymore. It's kind of like on some like LeVar Ball stuff. Yeah. I know what you stand for. I know what you're doing. It's cool, but I'm not gonna sit and watch it all the time.
I watch it because I don't like and Aaron and I talked about it a little bit. I don't like for someone to be stigmatized as crazy when that's not the case.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
that's our first rush with anybody, especially someone of fame. Oh, that boy, like you said 2 weeks ago. Oh, that boy done went crazy. Mm-hmm. You know, that's the first rush we as black people do, instead of just sitting down and trying to not even try to understand, but let them voice their thought. Yeah. Let them voice their thought that maybe you can kind of not sway them, but give them another view. But we so quick to call somebody crazy. Kanye over with. I'm through with him. Like dudes online burning $1,300 worth of Yeezy, which is stupid. Like he popped that money already. Like what are you doing? Yeah. I don't support him. People making the rap songs about him and all that. Some of them are good because it's coming from a Kanye. Go back and reassess the situation.
Right. Yeah.
But that lets a person that's dealing with something feel vindicated or right if the masses is coming at him saying, oh, you know, they thought somebody else was crazy and he wasn't crazy in this. So that feeds that, you know, I'm not crazy, I'm giving them the truth. But, you know, they said Martin Luther King was crazy. Right. They said somebody was crazy.
It's easy to be real rah-rah when you got a mob behind you.
Exactly.
You got Kanye is comfortable being by himself, being outcast, being the weird guy. This is a position that he a lot of times has placed himself in, and he's comfortable there. So it's easy for people to turn and point the finger and shame on you, Kanye, or whatever. I mean, and don't get me wrong, the dude didn't say some wild stuff.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't think that the nigga crazy. I just think that he's very crass, and I think he's very aloof at times. Mm-hmm. And I think those two things, when you're at the forefront of everything, leave you to look stupid in a lot of situations or look like you're in a whole different world. Yeah. But there's a lot of people walking this earth that are very crass and very aloof to what's going on. They're just not asked questions about it, or
that's true.
They just don't have a platform where everybody's listening to what they have to say. So I'm kind of done with listening to Kanye stuff other than like music or watching Twitter until
I said that last week.
The album comes. Until the album comes.
Yeah.
Like the I'm not probably watching no more interviews. Maybe I'll watch them after the album drops or something, but I'm not. I know that it's all a publicity stunt, and I'm cool with it. I understand your views. I've moved on from it, and I'll just wait for the album to drop, because I know I'm gonna get some solid quality music. The musicality I know is gonna probably be dope this go around, and I will really listen for that and hope that I get a classic, because we done got some classic stuff this year. I feel like.
For sure.
So I actually want to transition out of this to something pretty good that just dropped this weekend, man.
And what is that, Brandon?
Royce Book of Ryan.
Yeah.
Royce Book of Ryan, man. So Royce put out a album this year, earlier this year, Prime 2, that we reviewed, with Primo all on the production. I will say, just like, let's start it out here. I was so glad that Denon got off with this production this go around.
This was the best I've ever heard Denon produce.
Yeah. So Mr. Porter did his thing this go around, man. And obviously there's some other placements and things like that, but I think the consistency of Denon really stood out to me. Like, it was versatile, but there was a lot of solid beats. Royce isn't always the best to me as far as like beat selection, but this go around I think he did really good. Like, I was really happy with a lot of the beat choices that he made this go around, and I really thought that the production was crisp and it fit what he was trying to do in this situation. What did you guys think of the production?
You said it all.
Yeah.
I mean, it was that's exactly how I felt. That the production was it felt different. It took you a lot of different places. It complemented what he was saying. The message always felt right when it was, wrapped around the production. It just meshed really well. and it took you. The sounds was different. It played well throughout. It wasn't redundant at all. It continuously felt like it was always a different change or a different vibe throughout. Different tracks. So I felt like the production was dope, top to bottom. I can't think of a miss production wise at all. And I've given it a few spins. But
I didn't like that
good.
Amazing beat was probably the only one I didn't
I thought that one was dope.
but I think he did a good job with the beat.
Okay.
That's the only beat I didn't really like that much. But when you have 21 tracks, so what was it, like 17 tracks and like 4 or 5 skits, like to not like one beat is totally fine with me. That's kind of normal to me. Like actually that's elite beat selection.
Yeah, I thought he did an amazing job with the beats. It flowed well, especially when, of course, I'm always bring it up. I like a full length album. We got over an hour's worth of music,
and it ran fast. It didn't seem like it was 20-some tracks.
That's what I'm saying. So it's like when you can couple together, good content and good production. This is exactly what I was looking for. The production was dope.
This is probably the most introspective I've ever seen Royce. I know he was tweeting
easily.
When he turned this album and he was crying.
Yeah.
And so then I heard Prime. He was talking about Book of Ryan.
Yeah.
And so when I heard Prime, I was like,
"What you talking about, Willis?"
Right. What? And then and then I realized that it was going to be Book of Ryan. I said, okay, he better go a lot more in depth, within Book of Ryan. And I just thought from front to back it was so dope as he addressed everything that's made Royce.
Yeah.
Whether it's his son coming to him pretty much saying, I don't know how to write about you because I don't know you.
Yeah. That was deep.
To his dad choosing his family over drugs.
Yeah.
And going to rehab. Or his brother feeling like Royce would never be in a situation without the sacrifices he made for Royce. Just even like
and felt
his
like
relationship with his hood.
Yeah, how he was never appreciated for that too.
Yeah. His relationship with his hood, and that might even be very. I take that as very sarcastic the way that in which he finally ended that skit with his brother. Like, all right, that's what you wanted, dog, and then moved on.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So it came off as very sarcastic. I absolutely love the content though. Like this is the first time I put up with some of the corny Royce bars because the rest of the content was so good.
Yeah.
And I always feel like Royce has several corny bars to me that are just unnecessary or throwaway, and he gets very random and all over the place, and then he'll try to come back, and that always takes away from Royce's projects to me too. But in this album I could deal with it a lot more because of how dope everything fit into this story of his life. And even when he was telling his random stories that he tells, it still fit in. A lot of times they don't fit in at all. He just want to get this story off. So I was really in love with that this go round.
It didn't feel like a ramble. It felt like it was just very strategically placed. We haven't had an album this candid since 444, and I know that was just last year, but it's refreshing to feel somebody get this candid and this personal, because let's be real, they don't have to let you into their lives. That's like true. That so when they all, first of all, it takes a lot to be this vulnerable, you know what I'm saying, especially when you're on the forefront and you're famous and you're always thrust into the limelight. You spend your whole life, or at least your whole fame, being vulnerable, and for you to continue to expose these vulnerabilities and these pain points and these different things that hurt you in your past, but you're sharing it with the rest of the world. That's not easy to do. So when you can do it on this level and then it sounds good, it means a lot to me as a listener. I don't know, maybe I take shit a little bit deeper than some people might just be like, oh dog, it's just music. That's the way I digest music.
But that's how music is supposed to be
exactly
digested.
Right. You know, and you know, we was joking around like I don't know how long ago talking about, you know, how music is emotional. That's why that's why for me is because this person is giving you a piece of themselves. That's why substance means so much to us. So I felt like when it comes to the content, for him to be this candid, this open, this vulnerable, this comfortable with your audience to be able to divulge all of these different things from your past, I thought it was dope, man.
Yeah,
it was a dope album. I just don't want reviewers or the public as a whole to say, okay, he doing what Eminem doing again. He doing with it because, you know, he always get tied in with whatever M does. But this was different to me than a Slim Shady or a Marshall Mathers.
The level of transparency that was exhibited in this album is like is next level. Like I think like M's substance abuse and things like that like have kind of been at the forefront for a while. The only people who really know about Royce's, you know, alcoholism and things like that are people who are really just into Royce. And then he didn't make that the only thing that this album was about, like how he recovered from being an alcoholic. Like it was about his whole story. So how did him becoming an alcoholic even happen, right? It's his dad's issue with substance abuse and it's deep rooted, right? And then him and his brother have an issue with abuse now, right? And now I'm trying to make sure that my next generation doesn't have that same issue. Right. And then just how he talked through things throughout this album, I said, man, this is legit like a biopic. Like
it's his most complete album to me.
It is. This is his best work.
This is his
best work.
I agree.
I said 7 times the charm.
Yeah. 7.
Hey, sometimes it takes 7.
Hey. Not that the other projects was bad. I even thought
Layers.
I thought Layers was cold. And it didn't get a lot of pop.
This is what I wanted from Layers. Like
this had a lot of layers.
This
album had a lot of layers.
But when it was Book of Ryan, I was like, we might get something deep, or we probably gonna get Royce rambling all over the place for 80 bars. And then when he wasn't rambling all over the place for 80 bars, I was like, okay, this is gonna be dope.
He had a focus on each track. It wasn't like, let me just bar these cats to death. It wasn't the bars album. It was an album.
But he gave you bars.
He gave you bars.
A few bars.
He gave you bars, no doubt.
And what did you guys think of the features?
Oh, the features was cold.
Feature was, I liked all the features except for one. I wish Pusha had a verse.
That's the only thing that, I mean, it's because, first of all, I'm a huge Push fan, so when I see his name, I get excited. Be like, yo, this finna be cold. And then he was only on the hook. But that's not, I mean, that's just me nitpicking. But I thought M absolutely bodied it. M's feature was cold. Boogie, I thought his feature was super dope. Nice. His feature was real cold. Logic was dope. On the remix. I mean, it's hard to M set the table, so it still wasn't as dope as M. But Logic definitely came.
He dropped.
Logic did his thing, man.
Logic got off.
Marsha.
You already know. Marsha did what Marsha does.
Yeah, Marsha came with it.
I wish,
as usual.
So I'll wait 1 second. I'll talk about what I ain't like from Royce. But Marsha, yeah, she did her thing. Cole.
Fab verse was dope. Yeah, Cole did Pablo Boat.
I'm tired of Fab and the Rondo references, man. I think I'm Rondoed out.
I was about to say that's anybody in a Rondo reference, because it's always tying back to number 9. I mean, unless you can spin it some other clever, way that we ain't quite heard. Yeah, Rondo in the 9 is kind of it's kind of played.
Yeah,
let's change that to Ron Harper or something.
Yeah,
do something different. Man. I
was gonna say the gun stuttering like Ron Harper, the 9 stuttering like Ron Harper. Bars.
Clickety clack clack clack, man.
Oh
man, yeah.
But
no Slaughterhouse. I mean, other than him, but
they ain't getting along.
They ain't really.
Yeah,
it don't matter.
They ain't jumping up. So Joe said he ain't send them nothing. So, and I know Crooked is kind of. I don't know if y'all saw Crooked. Like, I like the work. Slaughterhouse don't like the work.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna have to move on from Slaughter.
I didn't see that.
But Joe said the freedom of being Slaughterhouse is we can work
come together when you want. Yeah.
He wants to be independent. The rest of the three want major money. So with major money, there's timeline. He said whenever we get together to do an album, we can do a quick album and it still be dope. But he's doing different stuff. So he said he's not in the space to do a Slaughterhouse album.
Yeah.
But Royce,
dig that, ain't
he played a Royce track on his joint maybe 5 weeks ago. Yeah. He said Royce sent him the track, and the track he actually sent was I think it was Caterpillar. It may have been Caterpillar.
Word.
He played a little snippet of, if I remember correctly. So I think it's just Crooked Out. He addressed it on his joint on his last pod. So,
but it's I think Joe is the problem in Slaughter, as Joe is the problem in most things. And I'm not saying that that's a bad thing. Joe is very.
Joe knows.
All right, this is. Well, I think Joe is very. All right, I'm done with this. On to the next thing. And he doesn't really care how you feel about it. Or, okay, I don't feel like putting out music right now, so I'm not in a space where I want to put out music. I don't have anything to talk about, so he just does it.
And I think right now he doesn't have to because he has so many other things
avenues
working right now. That's his last resource, rapping.
Yeah, and like I don't think he wanted to rap for real anymore. Like as his skill set and things grew, and we'll get off Joe, but like as his skill set and things grew, like there wasn't a need to rap anymore. Yeah, like he was rapping to pay the bills. You know, now if he just drop a verse one day, if he feels like it, like that,
right?
We know it's gonna be killed. Yeah, we know it's gonna be killed, and people are actually gonna listen to it. So continue to sit on the bench for a little while, man, and chill. But I will say the thing that I did not like, if I have to pick something I did not like, I don't want to hear Royce crooning on all these tracks, man. Like I was really not feeling Royce singing on all these tracks.
And I was the same way at first. Then I got used to it.
Then
it was so bad. It was so bad.
Word? It wasn't bad.
Which one was bad? The vibe was just off to me every time he sang. Especially like when you have Marsha and people like that coming in singing, or you sing first, and then
it was no different. I'm not even. To me.
And I was gonna say, so Cole is one who sang bad since album 1, and I've kind of adjusted to Cole a little bit, but I still get frustrated sometimes when Cole does it. Like Cole on this album singing bad sounded horrible to me, but on other ones like the end of 2014 Forest Hills Drive, it sounded great. You know, so I just don't think it was a pocket on this track that it felt good. And then I guess the other thing I wasn't feeling is Royce sometimes gets so offbeat with his rhyme patterns and things that it takes away from me being able to listen to the track. It's so offbeat.
Man, it's a homage to Silk, man.
Huh? That's not nobody. You want to pay homage? I think him and Herbo do that from time to time.
I think he does, but he does it on purpose, though.
Yeah.
I believe he does it on purpose, man.
No, because he does it too often. And first of all, the technicality of what Royce can do when it comes to flow and breath control and being able to bend and maneuver syllables, I don't see him doing it on accident, because I've seen him flow too well
I
to
think
be
he thinks that
offbeat
it
on
sounds
accident.
Great and it doesn't. That's what I probably should have said. I think he thinks that it sounds great and it sounds horrible. To me, like hearing somebody rap that far off beat, it's not like
it's minor to me.
Slightly
it doesn't
off beat. It's very far off.
It doesn't bother me,
and I think he does it with such consistency. I'll be wanting to throw something sometimes.
Right.
I get tired of it. You know what I'm saying? So him crooning all these tracks, and that is probably what takes away from it being a 5 for me. A 5 mile sauces for me.
So what you give it?
I think the best.
I don't know. I go last, so we know that.
One of the best songs on there was with him singing. Well, the best song on there was, in my opinion, was the one with him singing on it.
I can't say I have a favorite on the album.
Mine not at this point. It's too solid. Like Cocaine, I think you're talking about is cool. It's definitely a good song, and I think the way in which he crooned on that song, the way in which he did it, still had a flow to it. That it wasn't like he was trying to test his vocals on it or whatever. It just had more of like a harmonizing like type melody to it, and I'll live with that because he was still flowing, and I'm like, okay, dope, very creative, you know. So I respected that one, but some ones deeper in the album, like I was not really feeling. Like I think it might have been the track with T-Pain.
He sang on that too.
I did not like that.
Oh no.
There's a track like after that where he's hitting high notes and stuff. I'm not feeling that.
That's I kind of like that one.
I didn't like his singing on that. I think it was a good song overall, but I didn't like his singing on that. But let's mild sauce scale it. Did y'all have any? First, did y'all have any things that y'all just weren't feeling about the album?
The fact that I didn't get a Pusha verse and I saw his name in the credits, that was it. This was cold to me. This was dope.
I agree. Mine was just a Pusha joint.
It's only one, and I ain't even. I tweeted this out earlier. I don't want to be a prisoner of the moment. I'm still gonna let it sit for a minute. But this has the feel of possibly being the best album released this far. The only thing that comes close right now for me is Nip. I still got Nipsey with a slight edge over this. But
if I had to do a top 5 right now, wait. First, do your mild sauces. Then
Five. It was well put together. I got the time frame that I wanted. I got the production. I got a conceptual album. This hit every marker for me. 5.
I'm gonna go with it was a solid 4.
I ain't mad at that. I ain't mad at that at all.
I'm gonna go 4.5.
Okay.
I will say to Aaron's point, if I had to do a top 5 right now, he would make the top 5.
Oh, easy.
Easily make the top 5.
Easy.
I don't know if it would be easy, but he would make it.
No, it's easy for me. It's easy. My bad, listeners. It's easy top 5.
Yeah.
I don't know if it's easy. It's not easy for me, but it's there.
I'm with you. It's easy for me. I can't.
I think right now, if I have to bump something, Fonte's getting bumped. Fonte was at 5 for me, so he's now like 6.
Fonte was probably at 5 for me until I heard Styles' album. But maybe we'll do that one next week or something like that. I don't know. Maybe. But if you ain't heard Styles' P album, G Host, definitely listen to that.
Still in June, we gonna do best album so far.
Yeah. At the halfway mark, that makes sense.
So next far.
Yeah.
So we'll do so far. Best album so far.
This easily for me. This is top 3.
Yeah.
I'm gonna say Nipsey 1. I'm gonna put this at 2.
Don't get your whole list. Don't get your whole list.
I'm
gonna get a list in a couple weeks.
Nips and this.
We here.
It would be in my 5 somewhere. We still got a number of albums to drop in June
and May,
so I kind of want to wait till the 15th ish to do that. Because we still gotta wait for Ye. We should see Drizzy's album around that time frame. Push. So there's a lot of projects supposed to be dropping.
2 weeks. 25th.
Yeah. 25th of May.
Yeah. So we have a lot of projects dropping around that time frame that I think will significantly change or have the possibility to significantly change the lists.
This is true. Yeah. It's gonna be some
just
furniture moving around up in here. Yeah, it might be some shuffling at the top.
Ernie.
Ernie came with the fade.
Man, he was clean.
Crispy though. Crispy
He was
though.
clean, man.
It's like, who got him together
What barber
like
in
that,
Atlanta
man?
got him right?
Elevator Ernie was right, man.
Wasn't he? It's like, man, Nito stat of the night was Ernie gets his first fade.
But definitely a very dope project, man, as we close out.
Yeah, man. Royce
very impressed, man. Very impressed, man.
For sure.
How many albums have got 5s from y'all so far this go round?
Period?
This
or are you
year.
talking about
this
this year?
This
Just
year,
2?
This year.
For
I
me?
don't think I gave any a 5.
You gave whatchamacallit a 5.
Nipsey.
Yeah.
Well, Nipsey only one?
Yeah, it's just...
What did you give KOD?
4.5, I think.
Okay.
4.5 or 4, one of those.
Okay. What did you give Nips? I'm sorry, KOD?
3.5. I said something like offbeat, and you said we can't do it no more.
3.7.
3.7. Yeah.
3.70.
Yeah. 719 carried.
Yeah.
To the
Oh, you just brought in something that reminded me of the Gil Scott Heron drops.
Oh, yeah.
This
Yeah.
just, you know me.
And I'm glad it's a lot of people using these.
Yeah.
And it's,
but this
it's
was
super
used well.
dope.
This was used well.
Yeah, very well.
Yeah. All right, man. Let's move on to these. It's a couple teams I just think we have to discuss. We're not going to discuss the playoffs as a whole. I'm just going to say this out loud. LeBron is a Raptor killer. Like, I don't like. Maybe we should take him to Jurassic Park or something. But this dude shows out on the Raptors every year. The amount of fades and clutch moments he's had against the Raptors is scary. They don't. OG just lets the man do whatever he wants to do.
I think he's been valiant with this effort, man, trying to guard.
I don't know how you guard.
Though, but it's
we
straight
ain't
up
gonna get too much
rookie,
into it, but 5 feet off of him at all times, even in the lane, is not good defense, man. You go wherever you want to. But let's talk about the Raptors and the Wizards specifically. Do you blow these two teams up?
Well, you can't blow the Raptors up. It's too much money. They got wrapped in. I was telling Aaron, I think, what's the coach name?
Casey.
Casey may be going.
You fired the coach of the year?
I think Casey may be going.
Because you were saying that was y'all coach of the year. You fire him?
I still give him coach of the year.
Do you think...
It's a regular season award.
Yeah.
But
what's funny,
I don't know
he hasn't been out-coached in this series.
He's been out-coached. There's no adjustments. What adjustments has Casey made at all this series?
You can't adjust to LeBron when you have the body to...
So you would never send the double.
You think Tyronn Lue is out coaching him?
I don't think either one of them is coaching well. So I don't think that he's coaching well at all. Like, both of them would probably get like D- grades for coaching this series to me.
I'm gonna say that though, and I know I may get crushed for this, I don't think the whistle was blown correctly in this series at all, starting from game one.
I would agree with that. I think that goes both ways, though. I don't really think that goes one way or the other. I think that I'm not a Cleveland fan at all, but there's a lot of missed calls both ways in this series. I don't think that the whistle's used appropriately in this series. There's a lot of like little flagrant things. There's a lot of flopping. Mm-hmm. It's a hard to officiate series, but they're not really paying enough attention to detail to get it right. They're letting certain situations just get out of hand. And I've been pretty much happy with the officiating throughout the playoffs, but this series has been really bad.
Every series I've watched, the 2 series I've watched with Cleveland, there's been a discrepancy to me with the whistles, off the moving picks, the shove off going to the basket from LeBron, the holding from Kevin Love. Some of the stuff is egregious.
It is. It's total. I totally agree with that. But also, I've watched a lot of Serge Ibaka do a lot of crazy stuff that he's got away with.
I agree.
I would say Valanciunas, he's doing a lot of crazy stuff. So they're getting away with some stuff they shouldn't be getting away with either. But I don't think that the refs are setting the tone in this series at all, like for what they're gonna agree and what they're gonna allow and what they're not gonna allow. So I think that it has been poorly officiated, but nonetheless, Toronto is here for the 3rd time and has the same result.
To go back to your original question, though, they have to move. I believe Lowry has to go.
But Lowry been balling.
I think. Whose team is
the
it
last
going to be?
Two
is it going to be Lowry's team or is it going to be DeRozan? I don't think they coexist well. Friends, but basketball-wise, it doesn't.
Neither one of them shoot at a very high level,
especially
in the playoffs.
Playoff-wise.
In the playoffs, especially.
And I think that's what they need. I think they need somebody else, a starter, who can shoulder the load.
Yep.
And you can't just thrust C.J. Miles, because C.J. Miles could do it, but you need him coming off the bench, in my opinion. You need a shooter. You need somebody who can come in and fill it up. They need another strong wing who can take the load off when they not having a good night, or when you just want to be able to throw in an extra wrinkle. Toronto is extremely predictable, and that's why they're losing.
Perfect word.
Toronto is predictable.
Well, I think the problem is, to me, is to have an elite team, your scorer is going to have to be able to hit long-range shots.
And they don't have that
I
at
think
all.
Now, Oladipo is not the best shooter in the world, but if DeRozan was hitting outside shots at the rate that Oladipo was, we'd have a totally different series right now.
Because then you got to get up on him and he can get to the basket.
Yeah, you're letting DeRozan. He's not playing well defensively, and he's not getting to his spots in this series or really being aggressive in doing so. And I think that's really killing them. If I think you have to blow up Toronto because I think that there's too many pieces. I don't think that Valanciunas and Serge Ibaka truly are going to get you over the hump when you have a 2 guard that can't shoot. I also, and then the other thing is DeRozan relies so much on being fouled that when those foul calls don't come, he can't get in the rhythm of the game. I think you blow up Toronto. I don't think you blow up Washington though. I think Washington they got to get rid of Gortat. I think it's one of the big moves that I think that they have to make.
They like 2-3 years long with Gortat. Should have been gone a while ago.
Yeah. I think that if you think about if Washington had a Capella or somebody like that, they'd be a totally different team.
Mm-hmm.
But they tried to use Nene for a while and Gortat, which are skilled bigs, but they're not really mobile.
Yeah.
And in this league, you're not going to get out the East.
And not only that, the rest of your team get out and run.
Yeah.
Porter, Oubre,
Yeah.
Beal, Wall. Those guys want to get out and run.
Yeah.
Nene and Gortat can't run with them.
Yeah.
So then you got your bigs lagging back, and it just doesn't work. You need a big guy, somebody who's mobile who can get out there and run.
Yeah.
That's what they need.
I would really like to see them with a big that runs well, like if they were to move up in the draft, because there's definitely some they can.
Like a Wendell Carter would be great there.
Wendell, he moves like them.
Wendell could run though. He just didn't have to in Duke.
He just doesn't run that well. Not since the second knee
With
surgery.
them, they're gonna have to need a horse.
Yeah.
to
They
run
need
with Wall and
I
Bill.
could even say that they could live with Mo Bamba,
I was
but
gonna
they're
say
not
Mo
gonna.
Bamba.
But they're still not gonna get past Cleveland.
Yeah.
Yeah, because he has no.
But he's gonna
offensive
make
skill
them
set.
better. Yeah, he would make them better. But like, they're probably not gonna ever be able to do this. But trade up for like a Bagley or somebody. You know,
Yeah.
if they had somebody like that's gonna get out like a deer and run.
And
I don't know.
didn't play the same last year. Otto Porter didn't play the way he played last year. I don't know if he was hurt.
Otto was
a
hurt,
lot
though.
of the year.
Yeah.
Otto was hurt. He
Yeah.
was hurt in the playoffs.
But that wing helps a lot in this current NBA. Having that wing that can shoot and can defend a little bit and can kind of create his own shot. That helps a lot in this new NBA.
Yeah, and another problem is they don't all get to play together that much because somebody in their starting lineup always hurt.
Always hurt. If
Like-
it ain't Bill, this year it was Wall.
Yeah.
Nice block.
Wall missed a lot of time.
I think that's another reason that hurt them. Matchup wise, it was tough for them from the beginning.
Mhm.
Washington probably shouldn't have been an 8th seed, but with Wall missing as much time as he did, they slipped. But matchups hurt. Not to say that they would have not. If they were a higher seed, they would have got much deeper. They was probably still going to be a first or second round out, depending on who the matchup was. Just because they aren't a complete team top to bottom.
No, I think they get beat in the first round no matter who they play in the East. This year they would have. I don't think it mattered who they played. They weren't cohesive enough.
Mhm.
And then Beal developed a better off the dribble game, but for Wall's play style, it's kind of prohibiting him because Wall is holding the ball too long and going 8 of 27 and stuff like that. And so I think Beal is, when he's getting it, he feels like he has to cook on his own, because he doesn't know if he's going to get it back. So I think that hurt them as well. I think Washington's like 1 or 2 pieces away from truly contending. I think it's the 4 and the 5. Those are the positions that they have to upgrade. They got to get some dudes that can get out and run, and that are really going to challenge other teams to step out on the floor and things like that. Like, I even think an Olynyk works in Washington. Like,
That's good.
like somebody like that really
Or
works in Washington.
if they talking about moving them like they say they is,
They
Hassan Whiteside.
yeah.
If they
but
talking
he ain't
about
gonna
really
get up
moving,
and down like that either. That's his problem.
I think he will though. I think he will. If first of all, I think wherever he's gonna go, he's gonna be motivated. So if he buys into the system, like, hey, over here in DC, we finna get up and down. I'm gonna need you to run. I think he has the ability to do it. He's shown flashes of it before. But to get back to the basis of what you said, I don't blow up either one of these teams.
I think that Washington's going to be a middle of the road team forever. Then, if you don't blow it up, I'm sorry. Toronto's going to be a middle of the road team forever if you don't blow it up, and Washington's going to be on that Chris Paul train of we don't get out the second round. Like, that's what I think. I think Toronto's always going to be. They're going to be a contender this year, and then they're going to lose in the second round of the conference finals.
Toronto
every single
has
year.
never put fear, I don't think, to anybody that has played them in the playoffs the last 3-4 years.
No.
But they've got pieces that have gotten better.
The
They
players have
they
gotten
benefited
better.
from
Right.
a
So
hurt
that's
Kyrie.
Huh?
A hurt Kyrie is what Toronto benefited from this year.
Yeah, but then you can also say them not having Fred. I still don't think Fred VanVleet is at 100%. But he's
not.
He's not
playing,
the changer though.
but he can be.
A healthy Van Vliet doesn't change.
Do you get rid of Lowry and put Van?
I get rid
there?
of Lowry. Yeah, I do.
Because I think you get more value in Van Fleet, more
you better
consistency.
you better get a nice wing back for him then.
I think you got to get a 5-man or something, man.
It's no 5-man who's on the market who will move that'll give you what you should get for Lowry.
They can get some of them pieces over in Portland.
That's exactly what I was about to
And
say.
The money not gonna match.
Portland.
But
The money
Nurkic
not
is a
gonna
free
match.
agent. They can get Myers. They can get whatever other guard.
You got to
they
give
wanna
them
set up.
all, and that's dumb for Portland.
So what?
The money won't match.
So what they need about what 20 mil for
But they don't want Lowry because they're already logged
That's
jammed
another
at the
team
guard.
next year we're gonna be talking about. Do they need to blow that up too? If they
They've
don't
been
do
needed to
anything?
blow that up, or give them a big that can truly score the ball.
Because Portland got an abundance of little bigs that can run and can shoot a little bit and got a little tap on them.
Or they need to talk to Milwaukee. Milwaukee got a lot of
They got
bigs.
all the size.
Yeah,
Yep.
yeah, and just move on from Bledsoe. Lowry would fit better with them.
I don't think you can put Lowry there with Giannis.
I think you can. Lowry plays well with anybody.
I think it's all about buying into the system.
Yeah.
I think Lowry is good enough to buy into the system. Lowry don't want to leave Toronto though. I don't see him going anywhere.
No.
I see DeRozan moving before Kyle do.
I don't even
No,
see.
I
I think
think
them two
DeRozan
gonna stick
committed.
together.
I mean, that's what I said is going to happen. I don't think you blow up either one
Boys
of
like
these
the Mighty
teams.
Ducks, man. Raptors stick together. They ain't going nowhere, man. They going together, like to the end of their careers. Lowry gonna retire first, but yeah, they gonna be stuck there together, man.
Yeah, they got
Taking
about
Ls.
$200 million tied into both of them, so
Yeah.
there's not a lot you can do
And
with
they
that.
just signed them deals.
Right.
Yep.
Those aren't
Last summer and the summer before last.
Right. They just signed them deals. So I think they're locked in with that backcourt. They can't shoot the ball with consistency in the playoffs. And they are gonna try to make moves around it, but I think you blow it up, man.
What would have helped them was a Millsap type, something like that, maybe.
No sap.
I'm not opposed to that.
I could live with that.
A Horsford type.
I would want more size.
Washington could also benefit from a Utah piece, like a Favors or someone like that,
Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
because they're gonna get up and down and give them that toughness.
And he don't need to play 30 minutes a game. Get about
Exactly.
15, 20 spot minutes.
Yeah, for
Yeah.
sure.
No.
You know what? You know who will be good, and he ain't liking what he got over there in Denver is Kenneth Faried going to Washington. That's the guy who gonna get up and down. He gonna give you all the hustle you need. He gonna play good defense.
Kenneth left off hype. He got paid off hype, man.
So
We're
then
saying
go,
what Kenneth
I told you I don't
Faried
So-
live
is.
for energy dudes.
I
Man.
mean, but my thing is this.
This man
is-
made a U.S. team off of hype, man.
But okay, so look, what he can give you is exactly he'll play well into what the rest of that team is.
But it's
He
not
gon-
controlled.
And it's gonna be undersized too, so they're
That's
always
cool.
gonna have a matchup advantage against.
He's
them.
energy and
It's
5'5".
small ball anyway. Ain't
but
nobody
he's not
going
stretching
inside.
the floor either.
He's
You
not
don't need
shooting.
him to stretch the floor.
You do.
They
No,
need
you
a
don't.
scorer down.
Washington. The problem is that the ball is stagnant and everybody's standing in the same spots.
So
with Washington, they need somebody who I can post, but I can also, on a pick and pop situation, hit an outside jumper too. And he gives you none of that. He's 5 feet in and standing around.
Offensive rebounds.
Waiting for
you
an
can't even
offensive
throw him the
rebound.
ball
Yeah.
and make
But
moves.
Maybe a Julius Randle
I'm more
off the
than
bench
confident
helps them.
that John could get him set up for easy buckets.
You know what?
I would like to see Henson with them more than anything.
If Cleveland want to get rid of Tristan, he may need to change the scenery. He used to be able to run the court. That may be able to work in Toronto or especially Washington.
Washington, not Toronto. Because Toronto's
Where's Morris? The second Morris.
which
in
one?
Washington.
Yeah,
Him and
but he's playing the 3. They're not. Really
he's not playing the 4,
He plays the 4.
but he's more
Sometimes
3
with
though.
the
He's
second
more
unit,
3.
but he's
When
more
they
3.
bring in
Yeah.
Kelly.
That'll be a nice little front court.
Yeah.
They'll be small, but they play big.
It's okay. Most people play small.
I would like
nowadays.
Morris at the 5. I think he could play the 5 in second units, but they don't really do that too much. Final verdict, y'all blow it, so you're not blowing up either team.
I don't blow up nothing.
Yeah,
You just fine. You just gotta.
Blowing up both.
You blowing up both, and I'm blowing up one and keeping Washington.
We all over the place.
That's great. Great. Made for TV.
And you know, and blow up can also mean one major piece. It don't have to be 5-6 guys.
Yeah,
True.
but
Like in
Very
Toronto
true. Right.
case, it's
It ain't gotta
Lonnie.
be Cleveland. That was
Lonnie for a big.
Yeah, that was Hiroshima blow up.
In Washington just need 2 post players.
big boy bomb.
Right.
Oh, dog.
I'm with you though.
man.
You're right. You're right. It also depends on your definition of blow up. That's a good point, Steph.
Yeah, I mean, I'm thinking you move an all-star here or there or something, you know.
Does Kyrie go back to Boston?
Yes.
He's
You
talking
got
about.
to. You got to.
Yes.
You look at what they
Boston
did.
comes out the East this year if he's still
You
playing.
look at what they did without their 2 best players.
Can they beat Cleveland?
This Cleveland team, hell
I believe
Five.
they can beat Cleveland.
5.
No. With the team they have.
And
Not
Brad
even with
Stevens.
Gordon.
They can beat
Not
Cleveland
even-
with this team.
Yeah.
I don't think they do.
Oh, you
I don't
saying-
think they
oh.
do, but I think that they have the ability to. I think they lose in like 6.
If they was to lose, I would say 6, and I think they can beat Cleveland because that's going to be the matchup. But they can beat Cleveland in 6.
Yep. Well, I think Cleveland beats them in 6. I think it goes 6 either way. Like Brad Stevens so smart that
That's
I think
what-
he steals too.
Cleveland can beat themselves in 6. Let's be honest. They can definitely beat themselves.
Cleveland beats themselves every night, pretty much. I don't.
Not this series.
Except, well, Toronto. Toronto is the king of beating themselves. Toronto be like, we up 2. Let's get a turnover. They call a play for a turnover.
So
They be
all of these
we're gonna
series-
turn the ball over here. And then
All
we
of
gonna
these
play
series
this
going to be
game.
over this week, right? It's safe to say that.
Yes.
It should be.
So who
Yeah.
we got in the conference finals?
The original conference finals.
Yeah.
Boston, Cleveland, Houston, and Golden State.
Okay.
What we said from the jump.
Yep.
Well, I know what I said from the jump.
Yeah, I
Didn't
think we
you
all-
say that?
I think we
I
all
don't
had
remember
that.
what y'all said. Y'all might have, but I can't remember.
No, I think I said I wanted Philly to be in there because they got better matchups for Cleveland.
Yeah.
But I don't know with the way that
No.
they ejected him for that. That was trash, yo.
This is America.
Call a flagrant, but that's not a flagrant.
This is
2.
America.
That's a flagrant, but it's not a flagrant 2. It's and then in a game that you deciding this man's playoff fate. I mean, they down by 30, but shit,
That's how that conspiracy talk
that's whack
come
though.
up. Because come on now.
Houston.
It's the last game of the playoffs, and you eject him for that. It ain't like Clarkson got a concussion. The man's still playing.
He wanted to get ejected. He wanted it to be over with, man.
That's whack.
He might ask to go to LA this year. Somebody go to LA, man.
I'm coming home.
Yeah.
Coming home.
They blew up that OK3. All right, we gonna roll out. We gonna roll out, man. We will be back next
Peace.
week. All right.
Yeah, I'ma go into this. Yeah, this is Gorilla. Yeah, I'ma go get the bag. Yeah, or